4 years ago, BYD sold only 400,000 cars. This year, they're going to sell nearly 4.3 million. BYD, I believe, has just overtaken Nissan, Honda, Ford, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Kia in global car sales. And it's getting very close to overtaking Volkswagen brand car sales as well. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. Thank you for joining the channel as a member. A few members have come on board recently, and I really appreciate your support. I'll put a link in the description to our YouTube member page. So guys, this list here, this is manufacturers by brand, not by automotive group. By automotive group, these numbers are a bit different, and I'll show you by automotive group the top 10 sellers as well. But by actual car brand, BYD will be very close to the Volkswagen brand this year. They could potentially even overtake them this year. They should sell around 4.3 million vehicles, or potentially 4,250,000. So approximately 4.3 million, which means they have almost certainly overtaken all those brands I mentioned before. Honda have definitely now been leapfrogged by BYD. Ford have as well. So have Hyundai or Hyundai. So have Nissan, clearly. Suzuki, unquestionably. Kia, easily. Chevrolet as well. So those are the car manufacturers BYD just leapfrogged. Chevrolet, Kia, Suzuki, Nissan, Hyundai, Ford, Honda. And I believe the Volkswagen brand will be next year that they will overtake. Guys, a few years ago, many of you were asking me, and have since, what will be the biggest car brands in 2030 around the world. And in a video then, I released a video showing you my predictions for 2030. And at the time I said that BYD would be the biggest, followed by Tesla. I now retract that statement because Tesla is no longer focusing on automotive car sales. But it's very clear BYD will become the biggest automotive manufacturer in the world by 2030. Still easily leapfrogging both Volkswagen as a group, not just the brand, but as a group, and also leapfrogging Toyota, whose sales will decline interminably over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The next 10 years, I believe Toyota sales worldwide will fall every single year. Disruption is a bitch, put it that way. So, who are the biggest automotive groups? Well, groups are a little bit different. And to be honest, I think they're actually quite misleading because, well, these automotive groups are cheating to some degree. Here's one of the reasons why. Well, first of all, the brands I just outlined, technically, Volkswagen, a lot of their sales are joint ventures. So they only own 50% of that joint venture and only make 50% of the profits of that joint venture. Now, I think a lot of the West, if half of BYD sales were just joint venture sales, a lot of the West would be saying, it's not fair. No. But BYD owns every car they sell, 100%. So BYD's car sales are purely 100% BYD. Whereas the Volkswagen Group, Toyota, the same deal. Hyundai, Kia, the same deal. Stellantis, GM, all the big car groups around the world, a significant percentage of their sales are in China, where they only own 50% of that company. And in some cases, only 33%. So these numbers are skewed a little bit in favor of legacy automotive groups. Now, the other thing to point out is Hyundai and Kia, are they really under the same banner? I mean, we put them that way, but they're actually sister brands. They're not actually owned by the same person or the same group of people under the same banner. So, I mean, that you can say what I just said about many of these brands. So some of these numbers are a little bit misleading. But anyway, for simplicity's sake, here are the numbers. Toyota last year, as a group with Daihatsu, Suzuki, and Lexus, all of its brands together, they sold 10.3 million vehicles. That will go down this year, though. It will decline a little bit. The Volkswagen Group sold 9.2 million vehicles. That will go down by probably about 1 million this year. Hyundai, Kia, they sold 7.3 million. Stellantis sold around 6.4 million. That will go down by nearly 1 million this year as well. General Motors sold 6.2 million. That will go down to below 6 million this year as well, mostly thanks to rapidly declining sales in China. Ford, 4.4 million. I believe that's gone down a little bit this year as well. But can't be sure on the Ford numbers yet until we see them. Ford has definitely been affected in China, the same as all of these automotive groups. Honda, 4.2 million. BYD will almost certainly overtake Honda. Nissan, 3.37 million. BYD have already well and truly overtaken Nissan by a mile. BMW, 2.55 million. Like I said, BYD have now leapfrogged BMW. Chang'an is another company. As a group, they actually beat BYD last year. 2.55 million. BYD have overtaken them as well. Mercedes-Benz, 2.5 million. Renault, 2.2 million. Maruti Suzuki, about 2 million. Tesla, 1.8 million in 2023. And Geely, 1.7 million. So looking at this list here, which obviously doesn't include BYD, but it should. Interesting numbers, because the two fast-growing car companies here are Geely and BYD. Geely actually is growing even faster than BYD are on a sheer percentage terms. On sheer numbers terms, BYD is obviously growing faster than Geely. But the two fastest growing automotive groups in the world, by far, this year, are the Geely Automotive Group and BYD. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Could Geely and BYD be first and second in the world by 2030? There's a very high probability. Now, the reason we should be taking Geely very seriously is because they have the best electric car technology when it comes to batteries. They have the new Aegis short blade battery, which is, to be honest, extremely impressive. They also have the Golden Brick battery, which is the highest energy density LFP battery in the world. In addition to that, they have the ability, they say now, to charge EVs at 900 kilowatt. They have EV fast chargers in China that charge their cars at 600 kilowatt charging speeds. Many you can charge some Zeekr vehicles and some other branded vehicles under the conglomerate at 600 kilowatt charging speeds. Geely, like I said, also own Zeekr, and they're growing incredibly quickly. In fact, their sales this year are up nearly 100% versus last year. The Chinese rise is unstoppable, and really what they're doing is innovating much faster than the West. In the West, to be honest, we've gotten too used to our powerful position. Life has become too easy. Life has become too luxurious. Food is abundant. Money is abundant for most people. Most people, even people who are, lower middle class, still have enough to eat. It's not the case for many people still living in other countries outside the West. And there, innovation is something that is part of their culture. Innovate as fast as you can, because your rivals will actually eliminate you. So that's what's happening in China. Enormous innovation at the fastest pace we've seen in the history of the world. Now let me know what you think in the comments.